Kia ora, I'm Erin J. Doyle. Welcome to my channel. Today is the first day of Camp NaNo. This is going to be the first time I've ever taken part in a Camp NaNo, so potentially exciting, except my plans have already gone somewhat awry. I had decided ages ago, I think it might even have been last year, I made the decision that in Camp NaNo I'll be working on the same project that I started in NaNoWriMo last year, which is a sci-fi retelling of The Little Mermaid. And the idea was that I would work on my Camino story right up until the 31st of March, aiming to get it completely finished by the end of the month, so that it was kind of as good as I could get it, and then I could put it aside for a month, work on this other project, and then I could come back to the Camino story in May with fresh eyes and do a final read through and hopefully not too many edits before starting to recruit beta readers. That was the plan. Until about 10 o'clock last night, and I was doing a final flick through of my Camino story, feeling quite happy because I had achieved everything I had planned to achieve. And then I spotted a spelling mistake, which word hadn't picked up because it's a Spanish word, so there was an issue. Fixed that, then I noticed something else, and then I thought about something else, and I ended up with a list of things that I need to do in my Camino story before I put it aside to give myself a rest from it. I think if I put it aside as it is currently, I'll spend the next month just thinking about my Camino story and the things that I still need to do, rather than resting from it and focusing on my fairy tale project. So I've thrown out plan A, and plan B is going to be to spend Camp NaNo doing the final edits on my Camino story, working from this list. Normally when I'm editing it's quite haphazard, and I will identify things that I need to do, but if I don't feel like them or if they seem a bit hard, I'll just skip and go to the next task. So things potentially get missed, or I end up doing all the easy stuff and then I end up struggling with a big list of difficult things at the end. So what I've decided this time is I'm going to take this list that I've written and I'm going to start at number 1, and I'm not going to move to number 2 until 1 is finished. Revolutionary idea. The other thing that I'm going to do, and kind of the part that makes this a camp thing, is set myself a goal. I'm going to have 1 hour every day of concentrated effort on this. So obviously the Camp NaNo website doesn't let you specify hours spent editing, only that a word count. So I've set my word count goal thing on the website to 30,000 words because I write about 1,000 words an hour. So I figured that was a good reflection, and it made the math easy. So on my page I'll say that I've written 1,000 words after I've worked for an hour. I'm also going to keep track independently of how much time I'm spending on each task, and I think it'll be interesting to kind of see what I can achieve in what amount of time, because I usually am very haphazard with editing and I tend to be multitasking with maybe watching a video or something like that at the same time. So this is going to be kind of interesting to see how much I can actually achieve. If I, possibly by miracle, manage to get through everything that I've identified in this list as needing to be done in my Camino story, then I will switch the exact same method, but I'll switch stories and do this list, which is for my fairy tale project. The first thing that I'm going to work on improving for my Camino story is putting location names into every chapter. They are there for some chapters, and I feel like they just read more nicely if you have a named town for the character to start and finish her day in. I think it's not strictly necessary. If you're not a person who has walked the Camino, a lot of these place names won't mean anything to you, but I think even if the name itself is essentially meaningless to a reader, seeing you know, this town, you know, whatever name it is, in the morning, this town in the afternoon, at least shows you that there's this physical travel, because the chapter doesn't necessarily describe the travelling. It might be a case of a page break, or perhaps the chapter begins in the afternoon when the character's already done the travelling and they're now in a different town. So I think being given place names would kind of, I don't know, help you kind of imagine that travel. I could potentially avoid having to do any of this work by just having a subheading for each chapter telling you the location. Like I could have chapter 3, or actually I don't have chapter names. Ugh, I don't have numbered chapters is what I mean to say. So instead of having chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, I have day 1, day 2, day 3. So each chapter is one day of the character's journey. And I could potentially have something like day 3, Roncesvalles to Surrey, which is probably not pronounced like that. That would address the entire issue. It would be really quick and easy. But I think if the chapter heading tells you where the character is going to end up, then that takes away any tension from the middle of the chapter where the character might be worrying about where she is and whether she's going to get to where she's going by the end of the day and that kind of thing. So I think putting locations in the heading is not the good solution for this. So I need to first and foremost identify which chapters this information is missing. It's certainly there for a lot of chapters, so I need to probably just skim read each chapter and see where I've used place names and whether they kind of show you where the character is. I think in some cases I don't need to put both where the character starts the day and where they finish. If, for example, at the end of one chapter it tells you very clearly that the character is in Pamplona, I don't think at the beginning of the next chapter I need to say that she wakes up in Pamplona. I can just have her getting up and heading out and then finishing her day in, say, Porto Lorena or wherever it is that she ends up. I can't remember the name of the town that she ends up in after Pamplona. That's a lie. I just can't pronounce it. So yeah, I think the first task, identify the chapters where the work needs to be done, and then do the work. So this might be more than an hour's worth of work, this might be several days worth, so I need to get on with it. But I also need to be a little bit generous with myself the first week of Camp NaNo because it is Easter and I will not be taking my laptop down south to visit family. I have learned I don't write when I'm away from home, so I'm going to start off Camp NaNo several days behind schedule and I won't be able to get back onto working on things until about Tuesday next week. So it's a little bit weird to know that you're starting an endeavour already on the back foot, but never mind. So that's where I'm up to for today. I need to crack on, hopefully put in more than the 1 hour today so that I've got a head start on the weekends planned slacking off, so next week isn't a screaming nightmare. I guess I'll let you know how that goes. Let me know in the comments below if you're doing Nano and what you're working on. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you're new, hit subscribe. Do all of those things, they really help me out. And I'll see you next time, hopefully with a really productive update. Bye!